So we've got all the clutch on, all the carburetor is all in line. We've put a return spring on here so that your carburetor is returning smoothly. So we're ready for the engine, the Reds engine, to go into the MP9 Kyosho. You will notice that we've got the optional engine brace brackets on here. This is to stop flex in the motor, and what happens here is if you are on tracks where they've got many jumps and you get quite a bit of flex, this stops this and stops the motor moving forward because there's a lot of G-forces going on. If you go to a low traction with not so many jumps and you feel like you're losing a bit of traction, if you put the standard plates on that come with the kit, you will gain a lot of traction. So we put the motor in. The mounts are loose at the moment because we need to line everything up. Make sure you use the 10mm screws that come in the kit. Don't use any longer because they might not go all the way down and tighten your engine up. So place the engine in. I use a 2.5mm ball end. Just locate. It is a bit tricky with these plates being loose. So, but what I do is, once they line up, once you've got the motor plates, the mountings in, just tighten one and then go across to the other, and then go across to the other like you would be tightening the head bolts down. It's important this because you can distort the crankcase if you have any unevenness in the chassis. And again, just nip up with the ball end. You don't need to use any thread lock on this again because you're using metal with alley, so you get a certain spring which keeps it torqued up. So once that's in there, your engine will be loose. So what I do is a good tip is if you keep your flywheel in line with the chassis, you'll know that your motor is running central, and this will be running central to your spur gear as well, because if you're running at an angle you can cause damage to your crankshaft, you can cause high wear to your bearings, and also a wear at an angle on your spur gear and clutch belt, and this all causes damage. So if you make sure this is square here, you can even measure it from this point to this point and this point to this point, make sure it's even. So once you've checked that, position the motor, so you just push it in, make sure you push it in evenly so it's square. Check for the nice noise of the backlash, you don't want too much or too little. Then get your 3mm grub screw, carefully lift it up, just clamp and clamp crossways, just these two. Then check the squareness like I've told you. Then once you're happy with that and the backlash feels right, which is correct, then you tighten the other two. Always goes crossways, it all helps with tightening anything down on your car. And then what I do is I use a bigger tool so you can get more around it and give it a good tighten up. Again, you don't need to use thread lock on these because you're using metal with aluminium. So once that's tight, check there's a nice sound. Sometimes you will get some rough sounding because your spur gear may be chipped, or you may have used a different clutch bell with that, but this will bed in. The most important thing is your nice backlash. Then you're ready to click your throttle linkage on, which we preset already at a distance. It pops on, it's a bit tight, but that's good. And you're looking, because you've got it nice and level, you're looking for it to snap back on the own spring, and it should snap back with the carburetor return spring. It should return back on its own. Once you've got that set, then you're ready to set your linkage up and your throttle EPA. So now we've got the linkage on, we're ready to set the venturi up and the endpoint travels on the throttle. If you'll notice, this is the latest red venturi, which is offset. This is for more fuel efficiency and airflow. You can see it's offset to one side. It's very important this line here is dead in line with the carburetor, so the travel of the thing. So if you switch your radio on, and just check your endpoints at the moment, you can see there's a nice operation there. If you notice, we have a nice gap there. This helps you with the racing on the side of it, so when you're on the trigger you're going like that a little bit when you're a bit nervous or whatever, when you're getting a bit excited racing. This cuts out a little bit of the twitchiness of the engine, but it still enables you to get a nice full flow. So to set the endpoint, you go into your travel on your radio, or EPA on some radios, endpoint adjustment. Go into that, go into your throttle on the high end, and you look down the carburetor and you can see that's just not clearing, so you just add another click on there so you can see that the carb's opening, and you can see me closing in and then going out. Once it's to the edge of the venturi, just do one more click, and that's how you set. You don't want to have the carburetor pulling all the way out. You can see that how much trouble we have, because you'll be wasting fuel, and you can see the bottom end needle in line with that. If you're having trouble seeing, what we do is we get the iPhone with the torch. This helps, and you can see it a lot clearer when you're looking. And you can see that opening, and you can see it just clearing. That's perfect setup. And that's it.